Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I am Kim. This is Kim's Wellness Space, and you are very welcome. Hopefully you've been here before. If not, you're super welcome. And please go back and listen to the wealth of interviews and chats that I've done. If you are a regular listener, thank you so much for coming back. It means the world to me. Today, I want to talk to you about the Hawthorne Effect. This is something that I heard about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and sort of resonated with me straight away. And then this week I've got something that I'm getting ready to bring out into the world. I've been doing a lot of work on it. And by a lot of work, I mean, I have been reading through my old notes. I've been researching more and just putting it in a format that makes sense to everybody, really. And as I was going through my notes, I flicked over this page and saw the Hawthorne Effect. And I was like, I'd kind of forgotten about that. Like, it obviously was in the back of my mind somewhere because we never truly forget these things. But it all of a sudden made it come to the front. And I was like, do you know, I was going to share that. And I don't think I've really shared it very much. And it's so interesting. So, of course, today's podcast had to be about it. So I've got it written down here. The Hawthorne Effect. It says, when subjects in a study change and or improve their behavior because they are being evaluated. So basically, when we are being watched, we behave differently to when we're on our own. And we probably already know this, don't we? It's not going to be like a massive thing. So let's find a really fun example of this. Say you are at home with your partner and there's a bar of chocolate. Now, it may be that you eat chocolate all the time and your partner is quite used to you eating a whole bar of chocolate. Like, there's no shame on the chocolate. That's not really what we're like concentrating on here. But if you're in that space with your partner, you will probably say, I'm having some chocolate. Do you want some? Or you break it in half and you share and you have half each. If you are on your own and you have that bar of chocolate, how do you behave? Do you just eat the whole bar of chocolate to yourself? Again, no shame. Like, we're not talking about whether that's a good or a bad thing or whatever, but just how your mind works. Would you open the bar of chocolate, snap it in half and say, I'll eat half and I'm going to save the other half for my partner? Or would you just eat it? Like, there's no right or wrong, is there? But we do behave differently when people are observing us. You know, if we are walking in a group, say, sorry, I had to really think about what I was going to put into words then. If we're walking in a group and say there's 10 of us and the group is walking at a certain speed and we are finding it's a little bit of a push for us, do we drop back straight away or do we try and keep up with that group as long as we possibly can? Probably yes. Now, if we're walking on our own and we're struggling, we probably slow down straight away without even thinking about it. This isn't something that we do knowingly. It's just something that happens to us as humans when we're with other humans. So, you know, we've all been for that walk, haven't we, where we're a bit tired, but we know we should go for a walk and we go anyway. And then when we look at the stats afterwards, if we're someone that tracks them, we're like, that actually was quite a slow walk. Like, my pace was not very good. Normally, I'm a bit quicker than that. But if you'd been for that walk with a friend or a partner or a group of people, you'll probably find that your pace is a bit quicker because they're observing you walk and you're observing them walking. So you get quicker. Unless, of course, you've had that conversation where you're saying to your friend, I'm absolutely knackered and I want to walk slowly. And then, you know, you'll have a slow walk. But the point is, whatever we do, whether it's eating, whether it's movement, we are different if we are being observed. A really great example of this, actually, it's just popped into my head, is yoga. Yoga is a great example for this. If you are a yoga teacher, you will be really aware of this. So when we teach yoga, we always give options. Actually, it doesn't have to be just a yoga teacher. He could be a PT. He'd still appreciate this and probably do it all the time. But you always give options. So you always start with the most basic move, and then you can make that move a little bit trickier, a little bit more challenging, just a little bit different. Maybe it uses more muscles. Maybe it's a different group of muscles. Like you could, there's always things you can add on depending on where you are in your practice, how you're feeling that day, what it is that you're trying to achieve. Like there's loads of variables of why we would do different things. But then you have to be really aware of who you are teaching, who's in that class, or who your one-to-one client is. Because what I do when I teach, the majority of people that are watching me will do exactly the same. So a good example of this is doing tree pose. So you stand on one leg, you put your other leg goes up, so your foot is either on your ankle, your calf, your thigh. If I demonstrate tree with my foot on the floor, just on my ankle, the majority of people in my class will do exactly the same. If I do it so that my foot is on my thigh, most people in the class will try and do exactly the same. Now, it may be that they can do it, but it may be absolutely can't do it, or they find it really difficult. And if I'd given them the other option and was doing the other option, they definitely would have taken that. But because they're in a class of people, because I am leading them, because I'm watching them as well, they're going to try and do more. And that's where we endanger ourselves to injury, because we have to be really self-aware. But I have to be self-aware as that yoga teacher guiding you. I have to know that people are going to mirror me. So if I'm saying use your wall, pop your hand on a wall to give yourself some balance, I need to actually do it, because then other people will do it. I can then let go and do something else, but I will have done it, and so people will mirror me. And if that's what they need, then that's a good thing. So we need to be really self-aware, but also as trainers, yoga teachers, we need to be aware that people mirror us because of this Hawthorne effect, because we behave differently, we do things differently, we hold ourselves to a different standard when someone's watching us. Now, the reason that this is so important, and it's absolutely fascinating, is that that's why having a coach makes a difference between whether you're going to achieve your goals or whether you're not going to achieve your goals. Because when someone's watching you, you behave differently. So me being an accountability coach absolutely will make a difference to you with your wellness, with your health and fitness, with how you reach the goals that you want to reach. Because remember, the clients that I have, they tell me what it is they want to achieve and how they do it, and I keep them accountable for it. I am always here to offer advice and to suggest, but I will never give you a meal plan. I will never tell you how many calories you have to eat. I can advise you, I can point you in the right direction, but I'm not about meal plans, and I'm not about workouts. Like if you tell me that you want to do skipping, brilliant. I will keep you accountable for that skipping. And that's where having a coach and the Hawthorne effect meet, because you're being observed, you're being kept accountable. Somebody else is in the room with you, and it makes you act differently. So if you have told me that this is what you're having for your breakfast, this is what you're having for lunch, and this is your dinner, and these will be your snacks, if you then go to get something that's not on that list that you've given me, you're going to think, and you're going to stop, and you're going to say, okay, do I really want this? Is this really helping me take action towards my goal? How am I going to feel when I tell Kim that I've done that, knowing that I'm not going to judge them, I'm not going to criticize them, because we know it happens, it's life, that's something that we work through when we do the coaching, because what I coach is for life, it's not a quick fix. So we need to be able to work around these things. Nothing is disaster, nothing is ruined. But because you're asking yourself those questions, and you probably won't actually stand still and mentally like run off the list, but it will flick through your head. are you still going to have whatever it is that you're looking for in the cupboard or the fridge? And if you didn't have me as your coach when you went to the cupboard or the fridge to get that thing that you're looking for, without me, would you have eaten it? I think yes. In fact, I know yes. I would put money on yes. I know because I've done it myself. I know because I have clients that I've worked with that if you have somebody else in your corner that is keeping you accountable, you are more likely to do it because of this Hawthorne effect. It's so interesting. Like little everything, little things, big things. How much water are you drinking today? Have you drunk your water today? It's just a small thing. It's a little conversation. But if you know that somebody is keeping a tally of what you're doing, absolutely you're going to make sure that you do it. As soon as that comes off and you're out there on your own, yes, you can. There are definitely things that you can do to keep yourself accountable. You know, you can have TikToks and reminders in your phone, and there's all different things you can do. But it's more likely that these things will slide because you haven't got someone else watching you. It's so interesting. So interesting. You know, it gives us, it takes away the room for an excuse, doesn't it? If I am your coach, you will have said to me, today is a rest day or today is a working out day. If it's a working out day, you will have said, today, Kim, I'm working out and this is what I'm going to do. Say, for example, it's an upper body day. Brilliant. I will say, thanks for telling me. I look forward to seeing your sweaty selfie when you finished. I hope you enjoy your workout. So you know I'm waiting for that picture. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting at my desk tapping my fingers waiting, but it'll be in the back of my head that that's what you told me today. And I know that I will check in with you later on. But you know that I'm going to check in with you later on as well. So when it comes to doing your workout and you start to have that conversation in your head of, oh, I'm a bit tired. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Have I got time? I could skip it. You're going to have that extra layer in your head of, actually, but then I'm going to have to tell Kim that I didn't do it. And that's okay. Kim's not going to mind. Not going to make any difference to Kim's journey. But actually, if I'm not taking action, I'm not going to get to my goal. That's why I'm paid for a coach. I'm going to do my workout. Do you see the difference? That Hawthorne effect of how we behave when someone is watching us, someone is keeping us accountable, is so powerful. So powerful. It literally is the difference between achieving your goals and not achieving your goals. That's why places like Slimming World and Weight Watchers work. Now, I don't advocate going to them, but if that works for you, fabulous. Why does it work? Because you've got somebody keeping you accountable. You know that every week you've got to turn up, you've got to step on that scales, and they're going to tell you whether you've been good or whether you've been bad. Let's face it, it's not great. It is hugely in diet culture, which we are learning about more and more, and we know it doesn't work. But some people work like that, and that's fine. But that's why it works, because you've got someone observing you. You've got somebody keeping you accountable. At the end of that week, someone is going to tell you whether you've been good or bad. And let's face it, we just all want to be good, don't we? Now, as far as coaching goes, we take out the good and bad because we know that we can't restrict. We know that life happens and we need to be able to flex with it. But we still want to be able to achieve our goals. So coaching helps you do that. It helps you get through all that messy middle. It helps you organize new habits. It helps you stack them. Excuse me. It helps you celebrate everything and it helps you absolutely nail those results and win. And, you know, it's all good. But it's because of this Hawthorne effect. It's because you've got somebody else in your zone that is keeping you accountable, holding you to what you have said. It's no different from me doing my YouTube videos that I'm doing at the moment, where I said 40 odd days ago, I'm going to put a YouTube video up every day for 100 days to keep myself accountable in my wellness and to share the ebbs and flows of what I'm doing with anybody that wants to come and listen. Well, let me tell you, it's been a challenge for me. Not the wellness is fine. The recording the video and getting it up, like, I was so resistant to that in the beginning, and even now, although it was getting easier, now it's getting a bit harder again, and then it'll get easier, and that's how it goes, isn't it? We have to move with the ebb and flow of things. But because I've started, because I committed, and because I can see that people are watching, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going to keep myself accountable for them, and they're watching me. It's the Hawthorne effect. If there was nobody watching and it was literally just out there and nothing was happening, I could quite easily have stopped and removed it all. But that's not what it's about. It was about challenging myself to do something out of my comfort zone. So I'm keeping going. But absolutely knowing that someone is watching makes a difference. It absolutely makes a difference. I just love it. It's such a simple thing. It's two sentences that I'd written down. But it takes away that coasting that is so easy to drop into when you do something over and over and over again. And it takes that coaching away, and we start taking action, and we start taking action every single day. I love it. I love it. And that's why I like being a coach, because it's like sprinkling magic into somebody's life. All of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I'm doing this and it's amazing. I didn't know I could do it, and I absolutely can." So, um yeah, I think that was an important thing to share. It is a really short podcast today, but I think it's got a powerful punch with it for that one. I would like to end this podcast today with a bit of an advert for me. And I don't tend to do this very often, but I do have spaces in May. So if you've listened to this and you have thought to yourself, "Oh my goodness, do you know what? I understand this Hawthorne effect. I understand the power of having someone watching me," which means I understand the power of having a coach in my life. And let's face it, coaches have coaches. I have a coach. I've had a PT. Coaches have coaches. Everybody needs a coach. Everyone needs someone in their corner. So if you're listening and you're thinking, "Yes, this is what I need because I know how to do it, but I'm just not doing it," then please reach out on Instagram. Let's have a chat. Let's see if I can get you to your goals, because I would like nothing more. It makes my day. I love it. So thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. I really hope that made sense to you. As I say, if you want to reach out and talk to me, absolutely do that. And I will speak to you all very, very soon.